Unraveling the threads of destiny, Subaru stands on the precipice of both hope and despair. As the tapestry of Lagunica unveils, each decision made will either shatter the fragile peace or build bridges to a brighter tomorrow. Prepare yourself. The rest of the season promises a whirlwind of emotions, where every moment counts. If you haven't, remember to go watch part 1. The vast expanse of the Karsten mansion stands silent and stoic, its tall spires casting long shadows on the ground below. Subaru and Rem, both nursing their respective wounds, find themselves seeking refuge within its opulent walls. While the wounds on their bodies heal, the emotional scars of the events from the royal selection remain raw and tender. A cloud of frustration envelops Subaru. It's not merely the physical pain that gnaws at him, but the gnawing realization of his perceived impotence in the face of danger. He seeks to better himself, to evolve from the man who once stood helplessly as events spiraled out of control. Wilhelm, with his vast experience and battle-hardened demeanor, becomes Subaru's chosen mentor. Day after day, the mansion's training grounds echo with the clink of metal on metal, Subaru's grunts of effort, and Wilhelm's stern guidance. Yet, despite his fervent dedication and relentless practice, Subaru's progress remains marginal. As the sun sets one evening, Reinhard arrives at the mansion, the weight of apology evident in his eyes. He approaches Subaru, extending an olive branch and urging him to mend fences with Julius. But Subaru's heart remains steadfast, and the wound of humiliation and pride remains too fresh. He declines Reinhard's request. On another day, the bustling town square beckons Subaru and Rem. Amid the hum of activity, they encounter Kadamon, the vendor with a shrewd eye for business and a keen ear for gossip. As they converse, Kadomon paints a grim picture, revealing the widespread reluctance to support Emilia in the royal selection. The specter of the Witch of Envy, and Emilia's rumored association with her, looms large, casting a shadow of doubt and mistrust. Night descends, and in the cozy confines of an intimate setting, drinks are poured and shared. Crush, with an aura of regal grace, gently advises Subaru to embrace optimism. Her sentiment is echoed by Felix, who adds another layer of counsel, suggesting that Subaru should make amends with Emilia. As they discuss, Rem, always attuned to her twin sister Ram, senses a disturbance. With growing alarm, she informs the group that something dire unfolds at the Mather's domain. A fire of urgency is lit within Subaru and Rem. Resolving to investigate the situation, they embark on their journey to Roswell Manor. However, their journey takes an unexpected turn at an inn where they decide to rest for the night. Rem, ever protective and selfless, sneaks away under the cloak of darkness, hoping to face the unknown threat herself, sparing Subaru any further pain. Upon discovering Rem's absence, panic grips Subaru. Desperation fuels his next move as he engages the services of Otto Suen, a cart driver. Together they rush towards the mansion, but as night deepens, Otto's trusty earth dragon, sensing an ominous presence, refuses to press on, leaving Subaru to tread the dangerous path alone. The cold night air is thick with tension as Subaru trudges forward. Suddenly, an eerie silence descends, broken only by the shuffling of feet. From the darkness, a group of figures emerges, draped in dark robes and hidden beneath hoods. They surround Subaru, their intentions unclear but undoubtedly menacing. The standoff is brief, and as quickly as they appeared, they vanish, leaving a shaken Subaru in their wake. The first light of dawn paints the horizon as Subaru reaches Arlem village. But this dawn brings no hope. The village, usually bustling with life and laughter, is eerily silent. Subaru's heart sinks as he discovers lifeless bodies strewn everywhere, a testament to a night of unspeakable horror. With dread mounting, Subaru's steps quicken, drawing him to the place he fears to see most, Roswell Manor. The mansion, once a symbol of safety and luxury, stands hauntingly quiet. And there, in the midst of the devastation, lies the body of Rem, a sight that breaks Subaru, shattering the last remnants of his spirit. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. Who is the most overrated waifu? Comment your answer down below for a chance to be shouted out in a future video. Subaru pushes open the grand doors of the mansion, and the world around him shifts dramatically. The lavish and pristine hallways of the manor, which once echoed with life, are now marked by the signs of unprecedented violence. The lifeless bodies of familiar faces, including the caring Rom and innocent children he once brought joy to, lie strewn haphazardly. Each step Subaru takes is heavy with grief, the weight of reality threatening to crush him. Drawn as if by some invisible force, he continues to navigate the maze-like structure until he encounters an unnaturally cold room. The chill cuts through him, wrapping its icy fingers around his very core, slowing his movements until he becomes one with the frozen stillness, meeting his end. But in the cruel twist of his reality, death does not offer Subaru the sweet release he might have hoped for. He awakens once more at the familiar vendor's stall, greeted by the same sights, the same sounds, the same smells. Overwhelmed by the sheer torment of it all, he clings to Rem in a desperate embrace, his spirit and sanity fraying at the edges. While Crush and the feline healer Felix work meticulously to mend Subaru's physical wounds, the scars on his soul remain untended. His vacant gaze and unresponsive demeanor paint a grim picture. In her endless well of compassion and hope, Rem decides to take matters into her own hands, believing that perhaps the presence of Amelia might serve as a balm for Subaru's fractured psyche. As they journey towards the Roswell domain, the road they traverse proves to be fraught with danger. The ominous presence of the witch cult casts a foreboding shadow. An ambush ensues, with the cult's twisted followers attacking their carriage. Rem, with every ounce of her being, strives to protect the incapacitated Subaru, battling fiercely against the onslaught. Yet in the chaos, one of the cult members manages to snatch away the unconscious Subaru. He awakens to find himself shackled, imprisoned both physically and mentally. The room's tension is palpable as Subaru comes face to face with the cult's leader, the deranged and theatrical Betelgeuse Romane Conti. Before Subaru can fully grasp the situation, Rem bursts onto the scene. With a burning determination, she attempts to decimate Betelgeuse and his followers, seeking to rescue Subaru from their clutches. But her valiant efforts prove futile against the overwhelming odds. Rem's sacrifice is heart-wrenching. In the hands of the sadistic Betelgeuse, she endures torment beyond imagination. Despite the unimaginable pain and despair, even with limbs contorted and mangled, the love she holds for Subaru ignites a final spark of strength. With her remaining energy, she uses magic to sever Subaru's chains, urging him to live and professing her undying love before her life fades away. The weight of Rem's limp body in his arms is a cruel reminder of the horrors he has witnessed. As he trudges towards the mansion, the trail is marked by a macabre display of death and destruction. And upon reaching the mansion, the grim tableau continues. Rom, the spirited twin of Rem, lies lifeless. But the horror does not end there. From the shadowed corners of the mansion, a chilling presence makes itself known. Puck, in a form far removed from the endearing creature Subaru knew, looms like an unstoppable force of nature. Before we continue, let's take a moment to shout out Stickman_animations 643, who commented on our Rent a Girlfriend video. They commented, "I'd say Hunter x Hunter because it ended peacefully with Gon getting healed and finding his father who tells him about the Dark Continent." Thanks for commenting. Subaru and Rem's fingers interlace as they approach Crush's expansive mansion. The connection between the two is palpable, but the weight of their purpose is just as present. Inside, the mansion's grandeur is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Russell Fellow, a man whose attire and demeanor speak volumes about his association with a merchant guild. Although he greets Subaru warmly, the conversation between them is brief and surface level. Russell's departure is swift, allowing Subaru to turn to Wilhelm with an important request. However, the room's ambience shifts to one of serious deliberation as Subaru, Rem, Ferris, Wilhelm, and Krush gather. The urgency in Subaru's eyes is evident. With determined clarity, he lays out the grim reality. The witch cult intends to assault Roswal's domain in a mere 3 days. This revelation is met with a mix of skepticism and concern. Krush, ever the strategist, initially suspects Subaru of allegiance to the cult, questioning his motives. It's only through Rem's unwavering support and the honesty in Subaru's pleas that these doubts are momentarily allayed. The tumultuous meeting comes to an end, with Rem, ever the pillar of grace and poise, expressing gratitude to those present for their hospitality. That evening, in the dimly lit room of an inn, Subaru and Rem discuss potential allies. The options seem bleak, with most avenues leading to dead ends. Morning brings a new plan. Subaru will seek help from the other competitors, while Rem approaches the knights. At Priscilla's residence, Subaru's plea is met with an unexpected proposition. In a test of his resolve, Priscilla challenges him to forsake his pride and lick her foot. But even this act of humility proves fruitless, with Priscilla's disdain evident in her ensuing outburst. Al, her trusted companion, escorts Subaru away, sharing a mix of sympathy and surprise. Wandering through the capital's bustling streets, another unforeseen encounter awaits Subaru. Anastasia Hoshin, a fellow competitor, along with her trusted second-in-command, Mimi, engage Subaru in what seems like casual banter at a local pub. But the reality is far from benign. Anastasia's cunning becomes evident as she exploits the conversation, gleaning intel about her rival, Krush. The revelations leave Subaru feeling used and cornered, but not before Anastasia grants him a small concession, a note securing a dragon carriage for his journey. Reuniting with Rem, Subaru's frustration grows as she too returns empty-handed. Knights have grown weary of countless tips and warnings. Resolute, the pair decide on immediate action. They must reach Roswal's domain swiftly and ensure the safety of Amelia and the residents. The road stretches ahead, but an unexpected ally emerges. They encounter Otto and his caravan of merchants. Seizing an opportunity, Subaru negotiates the purchase of outdated oil, securing not just the goods, but also the immediate services of Otto and the other merchants. Their carriages would be crucial for evacuating villagers. Their collective urgency is evident as they journey on. But as they approach the massive Flugel's tree, the atmosphere changes. Emerging from the mists, the massive creature known as the Hakuge makes its foreboding presence known. The journey has just taken an even darker turn. Amidst the fog and chaos, the merchants, along with Subaru, Rem, and Otto, dash through the wilderness, the haunting presence of the Hakuge breathing down their necks. Recognizing the severity of the threat, Rem makes a daring choice. She entrusts their funds to Subaru, incapacitating him with a swift strike to his throat to prevent him from intervening. Immobilized, Subaru watches in mounting dread as Rem faces the gargantuan whale, placing his safety above her own. As his senses slowly return, Subaru finds himself jostling in Otto's carriage, the thick mist of the Hakuge pursuing them relentlessly. Anger bubbles within him as he confronts Otto for leaving Rem behind. Yet, in the heat of the moment, something inexplicable happens. Otto seems to completely forget Rem's existence. The duo's bewildering realization is interrupted as the whale closes in. Subaru concludes that the creature is drawn to him, a realization that propels a terrified Otto to push Subaru out of the moving carriage. Abandoned and vulnerable, Subaru's instincts kick into overdrive, compelling him to flee despite his weariness. A sudden reprieve arrives when the whale's mighty howl throws him clear of immediate danger. Picking himself up, Subaru spots Otto's carriage. However, The sight inside is chilling. Otto is gone, and bloodied witch cult daggers hint at a grim fate. Overwhelmed by emotion, Subaru directs the dragon towards the village. His arrival is met with the cheerful faces of village children, but exhaustion soon causes his world to go dark. Awakening within the walls of Roswal Manor, Subaru's gaze meets Rom's. In his groggy state, he momentarily confuses her with Rem, leading to an awkward moment. The revelation that Amelia tended to his wounds deepens Subaru's maelstrom of guilt and urgency. With a mixture of desperation and determination, Subaru approaches Amelia, imploring her to flee the manor. His frantic demeanor and lack of coherent explanation confound Amelia. In a bid for clarity and driven by raw emotion, Subaru risks revealing his resurrection ability. But just as he musters the courage, time distorts, and when it resumes, Subaru is met with a sight that shatters his heart: Amelia, devoid of life. The somber scene is further disrupted by Beatrice's entrance. Consumed by despair, Subaru's plea for an end to his life falls on the seemingly indifferent ears of Beatrice. She dismisses him with a mix of weariness and exasperation, urging him to face his torment away from her eyes. Emerging in a thick forest, clutching Amelia's lifeless body, Subaru's agony reaches its peak as he desperately calls for his own end. His cries draw the sinister witch cult to him, led by the eerie Betelgeuse. An ensuing confrontation sees Subaru narrowly dodge Betelgeuse's unseen hand. But just as tensions peak, the scene is intruded upon by an enraged Puck, who, referring to Amelia as his daughter, is hell-bent on avenging her. In the midst of a chilling standoff, Puck arrives with a menacing proclamation. As deathly icicles rain upon the witch cult, Subaru cries out to Puck, only to be coldly rebuffed. Betelgeuse, in a fit of overconfidence, believes he's immobilized the spirit with his unseen hands, taunting what he perceives as Puck's weakness. Yet this proves to be a fatal miscalculation. Puck shatters the binds and reveals his massive true form, casting a formidable blizzard over the landscape. Towering and imposing, Puck reminds Betelgeuse of his overwhelming might, comparing him unfavorably to the powerful Satella. As Betelgeuse meets his frosty end, clinging desperately to his devotion for the Witch of Envy, Puck's icy gaze shifts to Subaru. He enumerates Subaru's sins, notably breaking his word to Amelia and causing her demise. With a chilling revelation, Puck speaks of a contract that compels him to end the world, emphasizing that Amelia is his sole raison d'etre. The encroaching fog signals the approach of the Hakuge. A freezing Subaru hears the unsettling laughter of someone familiar, recognizing with horror that it emanates from him. In his final moments filled with regret, Puck labels him as slothful. Subaru's surroundings shift abruptly to the familiar storefront of Katamon. Pulling Rem with him, he attempts to collect his fractured thoughts. Once composed, he acknowledges his recent erratic behavior and its impact on those around him. With a blend of desperation and determination, Subaru presents a shocking proposal to Rem: fleeing together. He paints a picture of their potential future, far from their current dilemmas. Rem inquires if this escape is merely another grand scheme to benefit Roswal and Amelia. Subaru's response is uncharacteristically bleak, confessing his feelings of powerlessness and worthlessness in their current challenges. The weight of repeated failures and deaths bears heavily on him, and Subaru envisions a fresh start with Rem in Kararagi. But, to his surprise, Rem declines, emphasizing the importance of discussing their futures with genuine happiness. She then paints a poignant picture of their potential life in Kararagi. Touched yet puzzled, Subaru questions why she would refuse such a life when she portrays it so warmly. Rem's response is simple yet profound. Fleeing would mean forsaking the facets of Subaru she cherishes deeply. A heated exchange ensues. Subaru's anguish manifests in self-deprecation and doubt, and he feels trapped in a cycle of wanting and failing. He bares his soul, highlighting the perceived chasm between his ambitions and his abilities. Rem, in response, enumerates her reasons for loving him, focusing on simple yet endearing actions. She emphasizes her perception of him as a hero, crediting him with thawing her once stagnant heart. Confronted with Rem's unwavering faith, Subaru's despair begins to wane. Yet, he admits his love for Emilia, defining his purpose as seeing her genuine smile. Rem lightheartedly notes the irony of Subaru seeking such solace from someone he's just spurned. Nonetheless, with renewed determination and the unwavering support of Rem, Subaru finds the strength to confront his challenges anew, determined to start his journey from zero. Upon resurrecting, Subaru pivots in his strategy, prioritizing the defeat of the Hakuge before confronting the witch cult. Armed with foreknowledge from his last loop, he proposes an alliance to Crucius' camp, his bargaining chip, joint mining rights to magic stones in Roswall's territory in exchange for their assistance against the Hakuge. As evidence of his knowledge, Subaru utilizes his cell phone to pinpoint the time and location of the forthcoming attack. To bolster his plan, he promises to personally lure the whale into their trap. This information entices Anastasia to join the fight, recognizing the whale's existence as a hindrance to her own ambitions. Krush admires Subaru's adeptness in rallying allies. In a private moment, Wilhelm confides a personal vendetta against the monstrous Hakuge, the beast, spawned by the Witch of Envy, claimed the life of his wife, Teresia, the revered sword saint. This revelation reveals Wilhelm's unyielding devotion to vanquishing the creature. The subsequent day brims with preparation. Subaru and Rem embark on acquiring an earth dragon from Krush's domain. Amongst the creatures, Subaru's gaze is drawn to a black dragon, the very steed ridden by Felix and Wilhelm, to the Roswall Manor in prior events. Their chosen mount secured, they then encounter Ricardo Welkin, a massive wolf-like demi-human. As captain of Anastasia's mercenary group, the Iron Fang, his presence signals Anastasia's commitment to the impending conflict. Journeying to Flugel's Tree, the designated battlefield, Subaru and Rem ride atop their earth dragon, named Patrache. In tandem, Krush's formidable army and the skilled mercenaries of Anastasia's Iron Fang advance. En route, Subaru interacts with two Iron Fang warriors, Mimi and her brother, Hitaro. Subaru's greeting hints at a previous acquaintance, perplexing Mimi. To her, this is their inaugural meeting, but Subaru's recollection stems from the prior loop that she remains unaware of. Concurrently, Ricardo extends his compliments to Subaru, expressing admiration for Patrache. Their conversation shifts to the unique creatures Ricardo's group rides, which he introduces as Leaguers. Beyond the looming confrontation with the Hakuge, Ricardo insinuates additional undisclosed preparations on his part. Concluding their discussion, he gravitates towards the awaiting soldiers, instilling confidence and alleviating their pre-battle anxieties. As night descends, the charged atmosphere culminates in the anticipated appearance of the whale. Emerging precisely when Subaru predicted, the stage is set for an epic clash. The confrontation with the Hakugai unfolds as night's darkness is suddenly displaced. The Night Banisher is deployed, shifting the visage of the night sky into the bright semblance of day. With the disorienting backdrop, Subaru and Rem take on the task of luring the monstrous whale, strategically positioning themselves to ensure the combined forces of the Krush and Anastasia armies can strike. Among the vanguard, Wilhelm stands out, wielding his blade with intent, seeking close proximity to the whale and delivering fervent slashes, each one fueled by a personal vendetta and hopes to force the creature from its aerial domain. Yet, the whale defies the combined offensive. Its resilience manifests as it continues to hover defiantly in the sky. Soon, a new threat emerges. The creature secretes a dense fog from its skin, enveloping the battlefield in a haze of uncertainty. Subaru and Rem manage a timely evasion from a direct burst of this fog. However, Subaru quickly discerns the chilling nature of this mist. It isn't just obscuring. It possesses the power to erase a person's very existence. Dubbing it the Fog of Elimination, Subaru watches in horror as soldiers from the assembled forces start to vanish, their existence seemingly wiped from the memories of those left standing. Driven to desperation, and with the gravity of his unique ability in mind, Subaru shouts out the secret of his return by death. His intent, to become a beacon for the whale, diverting its attention from the vulnerable and injured troops. The ploy proves effective, drawing the ire and focus of the whale squarely onto Subaru. Taking advantage of this distraction, Wilhelm and Ricardo's unit charge forth, mounting an aggressive offensive against the beast. Each strike, each maneuver executed with the intent to cripple the behemoth. Yet, the tide of battle remains unpredictable. Despair grips the hearts of many as Wilhelm, the seasoned warrior with a deeply personal score to settle, finds himself consumed by the whale's massive maw. Simultaneously, Ricardo, the imposing wolf-like demi-human, sustains grievous injuries that threaten to sideline him from the battle. Just as hope seems to wane and the disheartening fog begins to dissipate, a new revelation leaves the gathered forces aghast. Emerging from the retreating mist, the sight that greets them challenges comprehension. The singular menacing silhouette of the Hakuge multiplies. 3 distinct whales now float in the sky, each one as imposing and threatening as the original. The already intense battle has taken an unforeseen twist, exponentially complicating the challenge ahead. The daunting sight of 3 colossal whales sends ripples of dismay throughout the assembled armies. Morale plummets as the forces grapple with the overwhelming odds. Amidst the chaos, as Subaru runs alongside Krush, they witness the relentless onslaught from 2 of the whales. However, Subaru's keen observation skills soon discern discrepancies in the whale's combat abilities and a peculiar commonality, a gouged left eye present in all 3 creatures. An epiphany strikes him. 2 of these whales are mere doppelgangers, replicas of the true monster which, intriguingly, keeps its distance from the thick of the battle. To achieve victory, they must target and neutralize this prime entity. A daring plan hatches quickly. To draw the primary whale closer to the ground, Rem creates an ice shard, catapulting Subaru towards the gargantuan creature. Suspended in the air, Subaru brashly taunts the whale. His descent becomes a tactical move, leveraging the pungent aroma of the witch that clings to him, acting as an irresistible lure. As he plummets, the whale follows, drawn inexorably to the towering structure of Flugel's tree. With impeccable timing, Rem swoops in, rescuing Subaru from his perilous fall. On the ground, a coordinated assault takes place. The assembled magic users channel their energies while others employ explosives, targeting the base of the monumental tree. With a thunderous roar, Flugel's tree topples, trapping the pursuing whale beneath its massive trunk. The creature's immobilization presents the opening the armies have been desperately seeking. Wilhelm, driven by vengeance and memories of his beloved Teresia, unleashes a torrent of slashes upon the Hakuge. Each cut, each wound serves both as retribution and catharsis. Finally, the beast succumbs, its demise signaling the vanishing of its doppelgangers as well. Aware of the treacherous spies interspersed among the merchants, Subaru puts into motion a crafty ruse. He circulates a decoy evacuation plan, purposefully lagging 2 hours behind the actual schedule. Predictably, this bait is snatched up, and the lurking spy is swiftly captured. With the spy situation handled, Subaru shifts his focus back to Beetlejuice. Adopting a bold strategy, he confronts the malicious leader at his hideout, feigning interest in joining the witch cult and becoming a new finger. When the inevitable request arises for Subaru to showcase his gospel, he artfully produces the meteor he had confiscated from the apprehended spy. This sudden reveal acts as the cue for a surprise onslaught. The ensuing chase is a frenzied spectacle, with Beetlejuice and the remaining fingers hot on Subaru's trail. As he dashes ahead, allies Mimi and Tive make their timely entrance, executing a swift assault on the fingers and effectively eliminating the threat they pose. Subaru's path, however, is leading to a hauntingly familiar destination, the edge of a steep cliff. It's the very precipice he had once plunged off in a past timeline. Yet this time, the context is drastically different. Subaru's objective is to lure Beetlejuice to this precarious location, and he does so with finesse. As the malevolent spirit finds himself ensnared in Subaru's trap, another ally joins the fray. Julius appears, his arrival heralding a surge of hope. With Subaru's unique ability to perceive the otherwise invisible unseen hands, he aids Julius, guiding his every move. Together, they form an unbeatable duo, focusing their combined might against the nefarious Beetlejuice. As Julius wields his blade with an unparalleled finesse, he swiftly cuts down Beetlejuice's menacing unseen hands. The connection of his senses to Subaru's grants him this unique edge. However, as Beetlejuice seethes with anger, feeling that his unwavering devotion is now mocked, he summons even more hands. In the fierce altercation that follows, Julius sustains injuries to his leg, stomach, and shoulder. While this battle rages on, a poignant moment unfolds elsewhere. Emilia finds herself in a dragon carriage accompanied by children. Wilhelm engages her in a brief conversation. At its conclusion, she offers her aid, which he kindly declines. He advises her to hold tight to the children's hands, emphasizing their relationship as truly master and servant. Confused, Emilia turns to further question Wilhelm, but finds him already gone. Meanwhile, the battlefield intensity escalates. As Subaru feels the pain emanating from Julius's wounds, he marvels at their audacious strategy. Julius, undeterred, increases his pace, wielding Alclauseria to decimate the unseen hands. In a desperate move, Beetlejuice employs earth magic to conjure a shield, but Subaru's quick thinking prevails. He hurls a magical stone to breach the defense, creating an opening for Julius to strike a devastating blow. However, Beetlejuice's tenacity knows no bounds. He attempts to seize Subaru's body once more. As this chilling possession starts, Subaru urgently signals Julius to sever their bond. Suddenly, they find themselves transported to a shadowy realm. Beetlejuice is momentarily overjoyed, mistaking this for a meeting with the Witch of Envy. Yet the witch, manifesting as an enigmatic silhouette, violently expels him from Subaru's body. Reeling in disbelief, Beetlejuice cannot fathom his rejection by the witch. He attempts to flee, scaling a rock face. In his weakened state, he unleashes a final unseen hand, inadvertently causing a rock slide that buries him. With grim satisfaction, Subaru labels him as slothful. Subaru briefly examines Beetlejuice's gospel, but a call from Ferris soon interrupts him, bearing dire news. The fire magic stones from the merchant's stock are missing, now likely within Keddy's carriage, which carries Emilia and the children. The explosive capacity of these stones is enough to obliterate a small village. Without a second thought, Subaru mounts Otto's dragon to intercept the carriages. Julius lends his fire spirit Ia, aiding their detection of the fire stones. Amidst their chase, Subaru spies a nightmarish sight. Beetlejuice's corpse propelled by unseen hands, intent on claiming him. Cornered and desperate, Subaru employs a flask of Otto's oil, igniting it with Ia's power. The ensuing blast strikes Beetlejuice directly. Yet, the mad spirit's persistence is unyielding. As he clings to the carriage, demanding the witch's love, Subaru employs Beetlejuice's own gospel against him. A brutal combination of wind resistance and a direct punch sends him tumbling. Still, even in this dire state, he clings on. But as Subaru inscribes the end in the gospel, the last vestiges of Beetlejuice's life are snuffed out, crushed beneath the carriage wheels. Simultaneously, Wilhelm and his allies face remnants of the witch cult. Wilhelm directs Subaru to the great tree, while Emilia grapples with the revelation of Subaru's sacrifices for her. Arriving at the carriage, Subaru seizes the bag of explosive stones. In a moment of raw emotion, he confesses his love for Emilia, leaving her stunned. He then races to the Hakuge's carcass, casting the explosives away to ensure a distant detonation. The subsequent blast engulfs him with his loyal dragon, Patrash, shielding him. Later, as Subaru regains consciousness, he finds himself cradled in Emilia's lap. The weight of recent events burdens him, prompting an apology for his past selfishness. Yet his love for her remains unyielding. Emilia, moved to tears, expresses gratitude for his unwavering support, marking a profound moment in their journey together. And that is Season 1. If you're dying to see what happens next, like and subscribe for Part 2. Don't forget to answer the question of the day in the comments below for a chance to be shouted out in the next video.